Hey everybody, you know me, it's Paul with Washington Pro Carpet Cleaning. Today I'm using the new tank, gravity fed shower feed. And if you watch the video before this, you can see the blooper where I actually just completely didn't know what I was doing. I had a dry cotton pad on a dry carpet. I thought by squeezing the trigger it would, pre-wet the bonnet, which it did not. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch the blooper. To me, it's pretty hilarious. I mean, it just shows, the learning curve. But here, what I did was I went ahead and I dampened the pad and wrung it out in the sink. And then that way, it would slide across the carpet a little easier. I probably should have used a microfiber to begin with, since this room was not really that dirty. The hallway in the other bedroom that you'll see me do, and the staircase, pretty dirty. But anyway, this was my very first time using a tank on the rotary machine. This tank came with the machine. It is gravity fed, and I also, the pad driver has holes in it, which lets the water go through the holes and moisten the pad for cleaning. I have a carpet brush and a tile brush that came with this machine as well. They have slots in them, and the slots allow you to the water, the shower feed, to go through the slots and come out on the brush. I think what I'm going to do in the future is use the shower feed with the brush and then go ahead and pre-shampoo everything with the solution and then mop it up with a dry IronMan pad, or extract with a dry IronMan pad, I should say. So I did speed this up a little bit. It was about a 40-minute video, and I wanted to keep it under 20 so you wouldn't have to waste a whole lot of time watching what was going on, same thing over and over. But anyway, I will say that the gravity fed shower feed, once you get the hang of it and you understand what's happening, I've talked to Robin at OxyDry, and he, it's hard for someone to explain to you unless you've actually done it. But now I see what he was talking about. And, once you get firsthand knowledge of it, you understand. And, as I went through, I was thinking, boy, I'll pull the trigger and release moisture going one direction, then I'll come back over and dry it. And then I had wondered if the pad would get too wet, the carpets would get too wet. I only had about maybe 2 gallons in that tank or less. I did not pre-spray it. And, at first I was wondering, oh boy, is it just the wet, damp IronMan pad that's doing such a good job, or is it actually getting the Green Dragon solution on the pad? And as I go, you can see the difference when you start to realize when you need to pull the trigger and release the solution, and then you definitely see the cleaning action taking place. And the nice thing about it is some of the areas that don't need as much solution, the pad's already been dampened from the dirty areas with the solution, so it still has some cleaning solution on it. When you pass over those cleaner areas, you're actually using less moisture, and it's actually transferring the moisture. It's like the pad doesn't stay soaking wet because it's actually cleaning those other areas as you go. And you'll also learn there's weight to that tank, and before I didn't have the tank on there, I didn't really have to kind of apply as much pressure on the handle up and down as I would without the tank. So with the tank, you got about 2 gallons. I don't know what that weighs, but you can definitely feel the weight on it. And you also can't lay the machine down anymore because the solution will drain out. You'll have a mess to clean up. But look at that. You know, rotary action always kind of flattens out those wear patterns, so that's normal. I'll brush those back up. But as far as the cleaning action, man, I am really impressed. Really, really impressed. I'm going to continue through this master bedroom with the same pad. Just use it as a pre-shampoo, then I'll put another pad on there and mop it up since it's dirtier in that particular room. And I can see myself doing this, avoiding the whole pre-spray situation. I did carry a spray bottle for spots if I needed it, and a washcloth there in case I needed to dry any areas or if it splashed up on the wall boards, which I was surprised. I didn't get any splash. It all stayed on the pad. And like I said, even after going through this entire section, I think I used about a gallon of water. When I pull the pad off, it's not sopping wet, which is nice. It's using the cleaning solution to go over all these areas. But you'll see how clean. You could see the traffic where I'm standing. There's a dark area there. It's hard to tell on the camera. And by the way, if you looked in a previous video, you'll see that little clip, the fisheye clip for the wide angle that I got from the Dollar Tree. $1. It clips right over your phone and it allows you to capture the whole room like this. It's a little distorted. You can see how it looks like the wall is bowed. But it's nice to be able to see the whole job. Look how clean it's coming, and that's with the pad that's already done the back room and the hallway, which were not that dirty, but the hallway had a lot of soil. But I'll get it real clean and moist here. I am pulling the trigger back and forth. And then on my second pass, when I change pads, all that Green Dragon solution right now, still kind of in a wet state, is doing its job, soil suspension, and I'll come back and I'll absorb any further soil that is ready to be extracted. And like I said, I do see myself using a tank. I like the tank. It take a little getting used to, but once you got it down to a science, I think it will actually be easier. The bad thing is when I got to the staircase, I kind of looked at the stairs and I looked at the machine and I looked looked around and thought, oh, dang it. What I have to do is pre-spray the stairs. You know, the Auric Orbiter is what I use on the stairs, and it doesn't have a gravity-fed tank on it, which I have seen someone who put a 2-gallon tank, I think, or a 1-gallon tank, and a little gravity feed on it. But anyway, so I did have to go out and get my work sprayer and pre-spray the staircase before I cleaned it. And I'm going to show you today how I've been doing the stairs with the Auric Orbiter. I actually have been using the green brush to pre-shampoo the stairs, and then I come back and use either an IronMan or a Glad pad. I think I used a Glad pad today. And I'll come back to the top and go over and absorb any moisture. So here's where I'm going to switch the pad. I'll show you this dirty pad here. You can see you can't lay the machine down. But take a look at that. The light's coming through the window, so it's kind of hard. It kind of did absorb through. But like I said, it wasn't soaking wet. And then even here, I'll go over, and you can see how bright the carpets are. There'll be a couple of areas where I'll definitely pull the trigger. I'm thinking, boy, there's got to be a gallon of solution left in there. And I wasn't sure when I brought it downstairs how to get the remaining solution out of the tank. And luckily there wasn't a lot in there. I didn't want to pull the hose off and drain it. I don't want the hose to start to get loose. But when I got outside, I was able to put it on the driveway and pull the trigger. And that gave me a really good idea of how much solution comes out. It comes out relatively quick. You know, I could see, you know, if you pull it one direction and then dry the next in a room, you're probably going to use half a gallon to a gallon per room if you lay it down heavy. But here it's not needed, and you can see it's coming out absolutely beautiful. But anyway, with the stairs, I pre-sprayed the stairs. I used the green brush. And for you carpet cleaners that are getting the Auric Orbiter and are new to the game, don't just use the green brush right out of the box on carpet. You know, the black brush is the one that you probably want to begin with. Eventually, if you're doing as many jobs as I'm doing on the week and the month, the black brush starts to slant sideways. It just can't hold up. So the green brush can be used for tile and grout, but if you take it out on the concrete or in the driveway and run the hose on the concrete and run the brush for 3 to 5 minutes, just let it spin, it'll break down that stiffness of the bristle, and then you can use it on certain carpets. So, and again, you'll see me using it on the staircase today. I'm just going to finish up this little landing on top of the stairs out there. And I also note that squeaky noise, that if you can hear the machine, the pad driver has metal, like 3 little metal teeth that spin onto the motor, and the motor has 3 metal, retainer clips. So it's basically metal on metal, and there's always going to be a little movement on there, so you're going to hear that squeaking. I'm going to put some electrical tape, I think, on the pad driver so that we don't have metal on metal and you won't hear that squeaking sound. Probably doesn't bother you. For some reason, noises bother me. You know, if I can't detect what it is or I think there's something going on. If it's something I can fix, I'm going to fix it. And like I said, look at these carpets. My goodness. That looks like a fresh mocha cappuccino. I mean, beautiful. And I'll show you at the end. I'll come in with my brush and I'll put the triangles down on it, groom it all nice and even, turn the lights off. The customer will be completely happy. If you do go back and watch the blooper, you'll see the customer had come upstairs when I was making all that racket, trying to figure out how to use the tank in the machine. It was hilarious. But anyway, it all worked out in the end. This is the green pad. I cut the video or trimmed it a little bit so you don't have to watch me coming all the way down from the top. And I pre-sprayed it with the Green Dragon. I have some new high-tech upholstery and carpet foam that I'm going to start using on the stairs. I just forgot to load it on the truck. You'll notice sometimes on the traffic area in the middle, I'll bounce up and down when I have the brush on there, just to get the deeper into the fibers where the feet have collapsed and pressed down the fibers in that center area. Does a great job, doesn't damage the carpet. It pulls it all up uniform and loosens up all that soil. Then when I come back, I'll use a Glad pad and I'll extract all the soil that's now suspended and separated from the fibers, ready to be released into a cotton pad. And here we are. I did speed this up, I think 2 times regular speed. That way you can get the idea. But I do like the 2-step process on the stairs. I was using my Harbor Freight Orbital because I think it was doing a better job of cleaning than the Auric. And then what I realized was with the higher RPMs and having my body weight on it, I was actually basically doing the same thing the green brush does, pre-shampooing and absorbing at the same time. So, and the Harbor Freight Orbital works great, but it goes so fast, it flings any loose thing, pet hair, debris, whatever it brings up, it flings it all over the wall. And because it's an 8-inch pad, then you got to go back and wipe it all up. This way, you just pre-shampoo, mop it up, or extract with the pad. And there you go, beautiful rooms. And I'm just gonna adjust my telescopic pole, and that pole was purchased at Home Depot. I think it's a painter's pole, but it works perfect with the scrub brush. A lot of guys have been buying these particular brushes on Amazon, 2 for $20. And I will say you can actually buy a deck brush at Home Depot. I think they're $4 for just the brush, and screw it onto your own handle. You want the soft deck brush. It'll say deck brush right on it, but not. I think it's beige. It's all natural looking on a wood block, natural unpainted wood block. And I think it's about maybe 9 to 11 inches long, like this. Would do the exact same thing. I wouldn't necessarily I've seen some guys use the yellow deck brush or the yellow scrub brush. Eventually it'll break in, but man, it's a little stiff and hard to push. And I'm not trying to get deep triangles. You can see that's plenty. And I'm not trying to work as hard. Boy, someone needs to call a guy that knows how to stretch carpets. There's some money left on the table here. So pay attention if someone's teaching you how to stretch carpet, because these are pretty bad. And that's a dangerous, somebody could slip, really get injured. But I don't do stretching anymore. I've done installation. I've done repairs. I've done stretching. I used to use the pole that goes all the way across the room. Had one of those explode on me one time. Wish I had video of that. But anyway, they make different ways to do stretching now, so you can learn that on YouTube. It's not a bad thing to have in your bag of tricks, especially if it gets slow or you have a slow season in the neck of woods you're in. There's always somebody that needs that service. And if I was going to offer it, I would definitely show the customer and tell them, hey, I'm available, or schedule it for later. That's more money on the table. So, and you can see the triangles are coming out nice here. This room was really, really dirty. The window's playing some shadows, but it came out beautiful. I'm absolutely excited about the new tank. I'll figure things out. I'm sure I'll have some more questions. But I do like the concept, and I will say to our buddy out there, Robin, in Canada with OxyDry, I'm understanding why you do the process the way you do it. So thanks for taking the time to watch. I'll get better at this. I'm also ordering a tank for the Koblenz 13-inch. So stay tuned, and I will see you all in my next episode.